Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, I want to inquire and know about what SFAL does. So, let's just start with the mission and objectives of SFAL. What is the mission behind this program?
Good. SFL, first of all, thanks for coming down and giving an opportunity to explain about SFAL. SFAL stands for Semiconductor Fabless Accelerator Lab. In short forms, we are calling it as SFAL. This was started around 2018-19 time frame when some of the industry folks and government of Karnataka came together and wanted to enhance the fabless ecosystem, especially in India, specifically in Karnataka into it. From that perspective and objective, Karnataka government supported for the Center of Excellence, specifically focused on this fabless activities into it. This is thought through well from the industry leaders, so that even before the semiconductor became a buzzing words now, it was 2018, and it was a real challenging environment. We started this group, this initiative for the Center of Excellence onto the semiconductor activities into it. So we do support all the startups focused in semiconductor area as a fabless into it. I'm sure you know about the fabless and into it. So we are focusing on that because that is a strength where India lies into it, and then we can bring our own kind of homemade IPs also into it. That was the objective of the whole group.
So, sir, I want to understand what specific services and infrastructure do you provide to these fabulous startups that are incubated under you?
There is multi-pronged kind of things. As you know, semiconductor area is a very complex in nature into it. And we do support in 4 different verticals wise, if you want to call it into it. One being onto the very basic things, for example, administrative supports and all those things which is required for a startup. When they come on to do something new entrepreneurially, they will be requiring support into it. So from that perspective, it's a soft things, which is like giving a space, giving them some kind of legal support for the establishing the company, ROC related one. So we connect them to our partners, and then they take them through. That is a soft kind of things into it. Second, which is the most important one, is to have some kind of support from the evaluation perspective, saying whether your idea is capable of giving you business, what is the ROI will be into it, how in that specific field of objective, whether it is required, is there some duplication happening, or the idea needs to be fine-tuned. Some of these guidances will be given by the leaders into it. So in our ecosystem wise, what we have done is around 50 plus kind of mentors are supporting this organization, where in each field, when a new idea comes from an entrepreneur, they come and approach us, we will guide them through some kind of both business as well as technology wise and the current situations in that specific field into it. We were able to do that because of the support of all the leaders. All these mentors are like CXOs in their respective fields, and they are ready to support the ecosystem into it. From that perspective, they will be evaluating, giving a feedback, which is the critical ones for any startups into it. Any new idea comes up. This is very key things which happens into it. The third one is specifically for a semiconductor area. If you want to do a design, the most complex thing is the EDA tools into it, okay, which is very expensive, and that is the one critical things which is blocking many of the things so far into it. So what we do when the selection happens, when we feel that this is a critical area in which we can focus, and the selection independently happens, none of us will be involved. Mentors and some of the guides who are there, they will be selecting into it. Once that is there, then we take them to the complete cycle of it. So from that perspective, we will give them access to the EDA tools into it. Many of the things, it could be front end or to the tape outs, and some of these partners where we are establishing, so they get a lot of benefits out of it. So that's the third angle you can think through it. Some of the supports which is required, tools in EDA, verification, validation, and also connect to partners when they want to do pre and post silicon activities also. The last one is with respect to all these startups, they need support from the investment kind of things. So with our ecosystem partners, we connect them to all the venture fundings, both some of the government of some of these ventures which are there. For example, Karnataka government has Kitven, so we connect them to them, and also private ventures and individual investors who are there into it. So we connect them to the investment angles into it. From all these angles, covering the startup requirements which is there for them. So these are major four verticals.
Sir, what is the difference between SFAN and other fabless accelerator programs that are there?
Honestly, in at least whatever we have seen it, there's no equivalent of Safal anywhere into it. There are some things which are like university driven ones, which is focused at university levels. What Safal is doing is completely a business oriented supports into it. All our tools, whatever we have taken up, EDA tools and everything, if you go with the university kind of programs, there will be restrictions for using the commercial deployment. Whereas the tools what Safal will provide and we have it is the commercial related ones. All the agreements what we have done is to support the startup to take it to the commercial into it. They can, tape out is a major milestone, and then take it to complete commercialization of the product into it. So that is the key difference which comes up into it. And also, we are completely business oriented. I don't think any of the, most of these supports which comes is from the universities, and for programs which is focused on some kind of research and the school activities. Whereas Safal is focused on the full product into it. Evaluation will be done by the CXOs, the immediate product requirements, and also commercial activities which can be done and executed into it. We take them to all the business connects to that, and also all the wherever there is a individual proposals comes from both outside as well as within GOK or India, we connect them into it. So proposals from the business sides is more on to that.
Sir, can you explain SFAL's business model? How does it run, and you need some sort of funds too? So how do you do that?
Good one. In the sense, Safal is a independently governed by its own governing council members into it. Okay. But having said that, because of the cost which is involved in the tools, and so any of the silicon activities is very, very huge into it. We do support, for some examples, on the MPWs, okay, multi-wafer product, and a single die which comes into it. It's expensive propositions. So some of those things definitely need support into it. And most of the execution, what is happening into the startups, we either take some equity, or they can also use pay and use kind of models into it. This will be kind of revenue generations which comes through Safal into it. But having said that, the entire idea for this kind of environmental support which is required for fabless activities, it has to be really supported from government into it. Karnataka government has been very positive in supporting this, and that's why I said 2018, when nobody thought through it, we were able to get that. And major of fundings come from GOK on those aspects of it. And we generate revenues from the exits which happens from the companies where we take the equity. When they mature enough and then they want to go to the next levels of it, they exit from our I mean, whatever the equity we hold into it. So we get some of those things. There are some companies which may be using it on a pay and use kind of things. So they actually use the tools on a regular basis. So there is a revenue model which comes into it. And also when we support for some of the investment activities, based on where they are entering and what kind of approach they have taken, what maturity level they have it, we take some portions of like any investment agency.
What is the criteria for selecting a startup or to be a part of SFAL program?
Yeah, as I said, the selection process is rigorous and it is done by independently. The mentors or the evaluation is completely independent into it. So we will be taking from the technology perspective, business perspective, and also financial stability perspective. So in our selection criteria, some of these people will be, leaders in venture capitalists or a business leader and a technology specific to what they're proposing into it. So first thing is whether the idea is feasible, what level of expertise the team has it, what is the background of the whole thing, and some of the potential of that team which can really execute technology wise into it. And then business analysis of that, what, how they are proposing, where they are positioning as a product, what are the customers they thought through, what is the competition looks like. Some of these analysis will be presented and analyzed as a business leader into the selection process. And also when they present it, they also give what kind of potential exits they are looking at, what is the market potential into it, where is the revenue generation for them, how they are positioning into it, wherever they need this help. So though based on those financial stability of the whole proposal will be evaluated. If this is done by independent things and the feedback comes to us, and as a governing council we take a decision based on all the parameters where they fit into it, and we don't say no to anyone, but we try to help them out if there is any shortfalls in these things, give them guidance, support them to mature in any of these areas if they lack into it. If they qualify that, then we'll take it and absorb and give all the supports which is required, EDA tools. Why we do that is because many of the ideas will be good, but it needs to be fine-tuned into it. And then, especially if it is replication, it doesn't make any sense into it. There should be some differentiation which comes through it. So we encourage them. We never discourage any of them. We encourage them to come up with new solution, fine-tune that. Business plans sometimes may be different. We help them to position it properly. I mean, across the globe, we will connect that. So from these perspective, we'll help. Selection becomes very critical. And once we come up with a solution for the entire thing is proper and we can take it to the next level, we onboard them onto it.
I want to understand that you mentioned your business model. So, are there any plans to expand the revenue generation sources for SFAL to grow? Because we see so many startups coming up and cost of tools and everything is rising. So, for SFAL, how do you plan to grow this business model?
I mean, first of all, thanks to the government of Karnataka, we've been very supportive, and also MeitY, I mean, government of India, where they are trying to position it. We had a lot of discussions with MeitY also, gave our inputs because this was early in the stages. Whatever the learnings Safal had, it has been already given to the current DLI program or the C2S programs which is there. Most of the feedback has been given from our side also. It's been very proactive in that kind of things. As we get to the next, probably we'll try to use as much as the national grid tools and everything which is available. Having said that, your question is very valid. How to get to the next levels of it? I think we can show one of the pyramids where what is the level at which India is into it. If you draw a pyramid in terms of the overall global, startups, specifically onto the semiconductor, fabless semiconductor kind of things, matured kind of market spaces is like 2,000 companies kind of things, support-wise into it, which exists mostly in Europe and US kind of. Japan comes into it. Then comes some of the companies like around 1,000 X kind of things, which is currently from Israel, Taiwan, some of those portions into it. So we are way below 100 kind of things, maybe 150 currently. Okay, if you current last report was around 150 startups is the current things. Where is 2000? Where is 100 kind of things? There is a huge potential for all of us to grow into it. From the startup, this is specifically onto the semiconductor, fabless semiconductor things. There's a huge potential to grow to that. Even if you look at from the stage, we are very, very nascent stage. We have to go to the next at least to evolve and then get into the matured market spaces. There is a lot of space into it. Safal being in Karnataka and specifically in Bangalore has an advantage because if you look at it, there's a lot of captive centers, all the MNCs present in on the semiconductor fabless activities into it. There is pool of talent available into it. Having said that, if you look at from the homegrown kind of products and everything, we were nascent into it. We moved up the chain last 5-6 years to a evolving kind of things into it. There's a lot more spaces to get into it. So even with Bangalore's environment, so many companies, we are at that stage. There is a huge potential to grow to the next levels. Why is China? Why is Taiwan, Israel kind of things? They have supported the entire ecosystem to cope up for that into it. We need to get to that levels into it. There is a lot of scope for us to grow into it. So we are trying to get that. One address is this EDA tools and some of those support activities into it. But if we really want to get to that level, we need to have our own IPs into it. Okay. So that was the focus into it. There are IPs which, if you spend something mundane kind of things and do a repeated once, it doesn't help. Some things we have to use it, some things strategically we have to develop, and something we have to innovate into it. So strategic things and everything, I think government of India has announced some of the things. Some of the startups have come forward and they are focusing onto it. What Safal wants to program for the next ones, I think this is under the proposal, which most likely will be, and it's under the clearance from the government, is that we want to step up to the next levels and provide critical IPs which are required for homegrown companies into it. So there are different models which we are looking at it. One of the model we are thinking through is probably you may be knowing IMEC from Belgium. Okay, he's part of our ecosystem partners and everything. So the support for that is like 40 years back or something when there was nothing on the ESDM, electronics, the whole thing. Belgium wanted to come to the next levels of it. So the Belgium government started this program, started supporting the ecosystem, and currently they are doing like some 2 billion or huge number as the revenue generation from them, self-sustained, but they are supporting the whole ecosystem. Okay, we are starting now, and there is a huge growth potential for us. We are thinking through how to reach that into it, and with a supportive talent around the whole members, we are planning to get to that level.
So you mentioned DLI scheme and C2S program. The implementing authority of the DLI scheme is CDAC, whereas Safal has, I believe, a much more deeper connect into the startup ecosystem for fabless. Shouldn't Safal be the governing authority for this scheme, or is there any partnership with CDAC to, promote and get more startups, get more people on board for this?
CDAC is the implementation partner.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
I think it is the right equation. I don't see any confusions or anything. CDAC being able to do it because they are compute and everything. We don't have our server farm. We don't want to keep that. We want to keep it as a business focus from that. CDAC is capable of driving into it. There may be hitchups here and there, but they are capable of driving the whole as a implementation partner. The whole decision making is still with the MATI. Okay, they have the group selections and everything. There are a lot of inputs given from Safal to selection and also to the tools selection, how they're getting into it. But the implementation partner, we don't want to get to there because it's that dilutes the whole focus. Even what we are supporting is through our partners, from all the EDA partners, through our simplest way of that. We would like to focus more onto the business aspects of the startups to succeed into it. Tool and mundane things is different aspects of it. So the equation is perfectly right, and we have been participating. As I said, MOS was in Shuffle. They have taken a lot of inputs. We have through industry partners and everything. We have been giving the inputs to them. IESA is one of the industry bodies which is continuously giving inputs to MeitY. So through us, it is going into it. So there's no confusion. But from if you ask for all the support and whatever the companies to be supported, actually Shuffle is supporting many of these things. If you look at most of the selection which has happened for the DLI are all from Shuffle portfolio into it. It's proud and it's also good for them into it. C2S is a lot more programmed, not just the tools alone. Tools is taken by CDAC. Rest of the things, for example, there is a reimbursement which happens up to 15 crores and some of those things which is coming from finance angles needs lot of scrutiny and everything. It's best done by them into it. So I think the current equation is right. Probably we are giving it from Shuffle's perspective, whatever the possible support required to enable the ecosystem into it. We've been also talking to individual governments and state level things to replicate Shuffle kind of models everywhere, because we can focus on one specific region into it. There is need for lot of IP cores which can be on a zonal based ones. For example, you talk about Pune region into it. Automotive may be the right thing to do that into it. We are talking to Orissa, where RF and some of the portions of power electronics related could be different into it. UP, again, automotive and industrial automations can be the focus of that. Like this, region wise, we can focus many things into it. I mean, in Bangalore, there is a lot of pool. We are closing on to some of the cutting edge communication as well as the processing kind of things into it. So there is a need and there is possibility for all of us to thrive and then get to the next levels of it. If it happens in multiple things, then only it will be able to succeed. And India can really stand up and say, right now we are saying we are at nascent. I mean, even in Bangalore, we have taken it a little bit. And it will be very, very crude in all the other regions. It has to be grown. I mean, even if you come to the next levels of evolving to the next ones, this is taking time into it. So, a lot of support is required. And multiple Shuffle equivalent of what you call center of excellences can be coexisting and doing it like parallelly. We are talking, for example, we are talking to almost like 5 state governments to support that into it, and they have been very positive. Government of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, Uttar Pradesh, some of these where they are trying to get to the next level. We are being supported.
Where they're trying to build OSATs.
OSAT is one portion. That is a manufacturing kind of thing.
Manufacturing, but
okay, what we are talking is the design.
Manufacturing.
Yeah. Design kind.
Designing. You talked a lot about ecosystem partners. So, do these ecosystem partners also help you offset the cost of EDA tools and everything?
Very much, very much. I mean, without the partner support, it wouldn't be possible for us to really support this kind of things for the ecosystem. Without getting into the details of it, where the EDA tools, when an individual company goes for any of the things, versus even if a startup, considering all those things, they do give some considerations. Versus when they take it from Shuffle, it's very much reduced into the cost into it. Okay. So there has been very much support from the EDA perspective, not just the EDA players. Take any of the partners we have it for in the whole side of it. For example, we partner with ARM, we partner with Marvel, we partner with a lot of ecosystem members are there, TESOL. So these guys will support all the startups at a considerably reduced price compared to the market into it. From that perspective, they have been contributing. For example, Intel has given us a lab for FPGA things. Okay, we've been that's like completely free of cost for all the startups here to use it into it. Similarly, Mentor, the Siemens, one of the FPGA emulation platform is with us. It's a considerably less considered to market price to what is given to Safal. So they have been very supportive, and most of the guides, which I mean, like mentors who come, they spend a lot of time. I mean, their time is very precious. For example, I was at Marvel and Ricoh in the previous ones. I want to. This excites me to do something for the giving to the society, giving into the whole sides of it. A lot of them are doing into it, without which it wouldn't have happened here.
Are there any other new partners that you're looking to onboard to expand? Because you mentioned you want to get to the next level. So obviously expansion involves onboarding more partners. So have you any such plans? What kind of partners are you looking for, and how do you plan to reach out to them?
Definitely. I think, as you said, not more partners and everything. We are looking at a strategic kind of things which helps into it. As I said, we are trying to get to the IP level kind of things. We are looking at who are the right, to make it to the next levels of it. So from that perspective, we are looking at it. It's at the very early stage. We need to roll up that, and probably next Jan onwards, we'll be looking at to partner into. One of them is IMEC, which is already having a lot of IPs. They have model and have executions and everything. It's like similar to what we are planning. So we are trying to explore that. Actually speaking, we are fortunate they are reaching us to because of Safal's contribution to the ecosystem and everything. Many of them are reaching Safal and team to do something for the entire ecosystem.
These startups get opportunities to work with these big, large chip companies and everything. And if these big companies see something of value, do they want to, further get into it, invest into it? And sometimes they end up acquiring them, sort
Very
of
true,
things.
very true, right? I mean, that's the whole idea of setting up interactive kind of things. When we bring both the partners as well as the startups, when we say partners, is basically many of the investing community, technology wise, some of the MNCs, some of the big players into it, and also the startups interacting with those things into it. Like you said, some of the area in which the startups are working, if it is interesting to their product lines and what they are trying to do it, they may do some kind of funding to them to enhance to that. This will be involved even in the selection time itself. They will know exactly which kind of thing. They will be supporting from that. And also focusing on, we try to avoid the conflict of interest, but having said that, they help them into it. Okay? There's an independent execution which happens into it.
Yes.
They also, if their product line and everything suits them, and if there is a business model, sometimes they have acquired the companies. Many of them have come forward for that. There's some discussions going on with, all the startups. We give a fair chance for them to expose into it, exposing to the business into the overseas as well as local. Many of the representatives who are there here as a CXOs, they come, guide them, and also they will have a mutual understanding to take it to the next levels into it. It is happening, but none of them have closed as of now into it. But there are exits which has happened.
How do you measure the success of SFAL's program? Like, you have this startup has reached a tape out, this startup has released an IP. So, what is your success measurement?
Okay, there are two things you're asking. One is, how do we measure the success of a startup?
No, how do you measure the success of SFA?
Okay, that's a very good question, and we have very clear defined parameters for declaring it as a success into it. Success, we call them if a startup is capable and were able to be selected for a bigger programs like the DLI. Why I call it is DLI is going to invest them almost close to 15 crores of investment, matching their contributions to that. At that stage, 15 crores, close to the 2 million kind of thing, is a decent investment which coming through it. So there is some kind of success which into it. CTS comes to close to 4 crores. So there's some kind of university relations. This will be done by outside of Safal's ecosystem. So there is a recognition which comes into it. One parameter. Second, when they actually get some business order, which is considerable, not a smaller ones, considerable to the whole business execution. If with that business order, if they will be able to self-sustain and do a product on their own, then it's a success for the Shuffle as well as the company. So if a company becomes getting a big order of that nature into it, a PO of that, then it is a success for Shuffle also, because we will be connecting and making sure that they get into it. Third one is when they get some big ticket investment from the outside to make sure that they matches for the next growth level and everything substantial into it. For example, recently I can quote the number also. I think morphing machine got investment, decent things into it. That is a success for them into it. There are a couple of other companies close to getting into it. So when they get some kind of external funding which is substantial into it, then it's a success for Shuffle also. Okay. So some of these parameters, and also when they get an investment to exit out from Shuffle, because Shuffle holds some of this stake into that. If they were able to buy out, and then if that means there is a serious lookout for those companies, and they will be able to expand and succeed into it. So these are some of the parameters on which we take that Shuffle is being able to execute and exceed into it. What we have taken in our parameters is there are so many companies needs to be successful for us to call ourselves a success. Okay, so if you look at it, there are some close to 5 companies which have gone into DLI. 3 of the companies got funded into it. 2 companies exited out from the Shuffle and then doing very good into it. Lightspeed AI is one of the companies which went to Singapore and they are doing very good in there in photo optics kind of field into it. So that's the benchmark which we set it up, and we are exceeding that kind of.
You worked with fabulous startups for quite some time. So, what challenges do these fabulous startups face in India, specifically in India? And second part of the question, how does Shuffle help them navigate those challenges?
Yeah. See, most of the startup challenges are pre-idea and everything, which is common to everyone. Specifically for a fabulous kind of things which comes up is the investment. Because if you want to, most of the investors would like to see what is the return and how fast they can get into it. Here what happens is the gesture time for getting the ROI is little longer, because any simple tape out test chip itself takes to 18 to 24 months. After that they have to prove into it. So funding becomes the challenging portions for any of these startups, because even though we call it as fabulous, they have to come out with a chip to prove that whatever the concept they have made and everything is working into it. That simple tape out itself costs between 50 lakhs to 1 crore as a test chip into it. Okay, so their investment will be, and that too comes after 18 months of the entire execution. Simple things. I'm not talking about complex executions. Simple execution, for example, simple industrial application process into it. Okay? So investment becomes a challenge one. They have to sustain this kind of period into it. So what Shuffle is trying to do is multi-pronged. One is educating the the investors to come up to that level and then say that don't immediately expect. Software-wise, if you put it within 6 months, they will know whether it's succeeded or failed. Okay, here it takes time into it, and they have to be patient into it. So educating them and also making sure they connect it to proper, not just blindly, but by giving a qualitative analysis which is being done from the selection process to the moment on which they will evaluate into it. So there is a technical report which will be supported, and on that basis they can go and invest into it. So this is the challenging ones, and that's how we have positioned into it. This is the major ones.
What areas do you think need more government or industry intervention to strengthen this India's fabulous ecosystem?
Currently, I think from the government there has been very good support. One thing which was feedback for the DLI was reimbursement is a challenging one. For a startup, it should be a grant or something, a different equation has to be done into it, which has been already given to them. I'm sure they will be working on that. From the state government has been very proactive, at least in Karnataka government, there's the Elevate program and everything which is coming up. Industry wise also, it's been very proactive in terms of supporting. For example, I said there's valuable time has been spent for many of the guiding selection and then coaching them has been into it. Okay. As we get to the next levels, we are getting into the IP level ones into it, where we would like the local industry things to be using and developing, supporting these startups focused at the IP activities into it.
Sir, I want to understand what will be your advice for a startup who wants to design semiconductor chips, a fabulous startup, and why should they join Safal?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think you should be patient. I mean, this is not like a software coding kind of things. It is like a long-term commitment should be there into it. You need to understand what you are trying to achieve into it. Okay, and also be clear in your mind that you need to spend a lot of time and energy to really make it happen into it. Some of them will be complaining 18 hours and everything, but this definitely needs some kind of commitment to that because of the nature of the whole operations which is required into it. I mean, you can see that into it. If you are committed to do that, if you are really spending that kind of things, your return will be definitely that much into it. I mean, if you see any of the successful things, all beautiful engagements, they have spent sleepless nights at the beginnings. Now they are getting the fruits out of it, and you should be prepared for that. As long as you are doing that, you will get a ROI which is comparably very decent to any of the industries into it. That's the patience is the one, and you need to be focused on the activities into it. It is not a trivial one. It needs a lot of commitment, a lot of technology aspects of it. It's not going to be easy. Coding and changing is not that much into it. So you have to be very clear into your ideas. What Safal guarantees for all these things, when we select you from not just on the idea, we select you from all the perspective. We are holding you throughout and then make sure that you succeed into it. So from that perspective, it's not just the tools, not just one portion. It's like an end-to-end support which comes from Safal. So no other accelerators or any of these things which is there, as I know, is going to be giving that much of end-to-end support for any startups.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
sir.
very much.
Thanks a lot.
It's my pleasure.